All right, hi everyone. Time to open this box, figure out what's in here. I think it's sketchbooks. Squarespace is sponsoring this bow pull and the rest of the video. Very satisfying. I think this is a. Ooh, look at that! It's my little chameleon. I'm not sure where they got that, but it's pretty cute. Basically, I think the idea here is I might be potentially, I don't know how much of the cat I'm supposed to be letting out of the bag, but there's a possibility that I can work with these people to make like a Peter Draws sketchbook because like on some of these, it'd be cool to create the designs that go on here. So they're just sending me some samples here. Let's see what it's like. Comes with a cute little sticker. I like that. I like stickers. You can register it for some reason. There's a optional pen loop, it looks like. This is a concept I've seen before, but I do like it in that you can have one leather binding and then keep on switching out the paper insides. Like keep drawing using this. Then once this is full, it's just an elastic thing that holds it, right? Take it out, put it on your bookshelf or whatever, pop another one in there. And since this is leather, it keeps on like accumulating character and all the stories, you can kind of pop it back in there. Maybe we'll do some drawing on our little, this is called the storyboard sketchbook. And this is like dot grid paper. I'm sure they have other options. It says it's ink-loving, soft cover, opens flat, which it does seem to do. Let's try turning a page. Even after turning a page with the elastic in there, it's pretty flat, so that is nice. Just pop this on here. I think I'm too dumb to figure out the pen strap. I've got to clear my desk off a little bit. This leather bound one with the exchangeable inserts is called the Explorer Refillable Leather Journal. Okay. Well, I think this is another insert. This is a ruled layout instead of the dot grid. Oh, very nice. Like there's different ways to thread the elastic through the leather. Some of them just make a simple loop around it, but some of them go like through a little hole here and then in here through this little hole, and then you can cinch them and make them tighter if you want. But I don't know if you can do that with any of them, because if they're closed loops, how can you thread them through different things? Well, that's pretty cool with two of them in there. Starting to feel a little bit more substantial. It says cotton wallet for Explorer. Oh, this is a different case. Oh, this also goes in here. Nice. Then it's even feeling more substantial. That's kind of starting to like that. I feel slightly nerdy with it, but it's a good type of nerdy. And then the recorder says the world's most ink-friendly notebook. Dotted. Oh, is it the most ink-friendly? Probably have to test that claim. I like the little blue thing. Another little note here that says this sketchbook is centered around giving you immense pleasure while using it. Another cute sticker. I do like this texture right here with all the little circular dots. Oh, the table of contents. That's a cool idea. Maybe it's like goes around your arm. In there. That's safe, right? Quick draw pen slot. I have to practice more. That's good. That's good. All right, let's draw on this sketchbook. Before we get back to that sketchbook, let's talk about Squarespace for a second, because it's a really easy way to get your own website up and running, even if you don't know anything about making websites. And you can even introduce all these cool features like members-only areas where you need a password to get into certain sections of your website, or the whole website maybe. That's like a secret club, I guess. And you can have e-commerce where people can buy things on your website. Then when people check out, they get automatically updated via email as you fulfill the order. Like if you ship it, you can type in the little tracking number and they get updated that the thing is on the way. Or if you're just handing it to them in person, you can still update it on your website and all your inventory gets tracked. So it's really easy on your end. Squarespace.com for your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws for 10% off your first website or domain. Now back to the question about, is this sketchbook really, well, how do they word it? The most friendly to ink? Is it friends with ink? Look, I used a pen that I've had good experiences with in the past. It's a Kaweco AC Sport, I think. It's like one of the nicer Kaweco Sports. It's made of like aluminum and this carbon fiber. It's kind of over the top. Like obviously you don't need a pen made of carbon fiber. You don't really even need a pen made of aluminum. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's fun. So I use that pen. I know it works, right? So I wanted like a good reliable pen. And so then I went at it with this paper, and yeah, I think it is pretty nice and friendly to my ink. I think the paper and the ink got along pretty well right off the bat. They hit it off, and I could see them getting pretty chummy. There is a slight. I used my favorite platinum black carbon ink, which is my favorite because it doesn't smudge very much, but the way that this is friendly to ink, and a lot of papers that say they're good for ink, they don't absorb too much of it. That's usually how it works in my experience, right? But that also means the ink just kind of sits on top, which means it's easier to smudge. And that was happening a little bit here. I got one or two tiny little smudges. It's not the end of the world, but really with all ink drawings, you really just need to keep in the back of your mind, don't put your hand on top of the fresh ink. And at least with this ink and this paper combination, after the ink dried, I could put my hand on the ink and it wouldn't smudge then. It was only wet ink. And the issue is that the ink stays wet a little bit longer than I was used to. But once you get used to it, you get accustomed to the higher drying time than like a regular piece of paper. It was really fine. And it's like slightly smoother paper, which helps like pens glide across a little bit more. And I like the dots because they're very minimal, but if you want to draw a nice straight line, they're there for you when you need them. Yeah, it didn't bleed through at all. The paper is, I don't know about the thinness or thickness of the paper. I feel like I won't be able to form a real opinion of that until I try to go and draw on the other side of the paper. If this paper was a coin, isn't there a fancy word for the other side called like the obverse? Obverse? Wait, let me Google this word. Wait, I have my hands on the wrong keys. Obverse. The side of a coin or metal bearing the head or principal design. Oh. What's the opposite of an obverse? The obverse is the front. Oh. What is the opposite of the obverse? Obverse opposite. Oh, it's just reverse. Obverse. Obverse is the reverse of reverse. I was overthinking that. I had it all backwards. I guess we never use the word. We don't usually use the word obverse because we just say front or heads. Obverse is heads, reverse is tails. Anyways, so I drew on the obverse page, for side of the page, or the front of the page. And the back, I mean, I don't really, usually when I draw my sketchbooks, I don't really consider the front and backs of the pages. They're just, if I look at a page spread, it's just two fronts of pages. But it has caused me some slight consternation recently, because I've started wanting to be able to hang up my art so people can see it publicly in real life. But it's difficult if it's all bound up in a sketchbook. And I think I might have talked about this in a video recently. Like, how do you do it? I don't want people, I don't mind. I've handed my full, it's just you put so much time and effort into a sketchbook. If you fill up a sketchbook, that's like hundreds of hours maybe. And you wouldn't, normally you don't touch art at a gallery. You just look at, it's like, look, don't touch. With a sketchbook, it's even more. You have to flip through the pages. You have to touch each page. If all the people that are looking at all the pages are touching on the pages, it would just start getting grimy quickly, I guess. I don't know. You just don't know the conditions of everybody's hands and fingers. And some people flip you ever seen those people that lick their fingers before they flip a page? What if they did that to a sketchbook? Anyways, and I don't know. So what's the best way to let a lot of people look through a sketchbook? Sometimes I've wanted these I've seen there's automatic page flipping machines for people who read sheet music, but those are really expensive, and they can't flip that many pages. The best way might be to, and I think I talked about this recently, is to just disassemble the sketchbook and put all the pages in between panes of glass and arrange them in the gallery in a way that people can look at both sides of them. Because, it's okay if the sketchbook isn't intact anymore, in my opinion. I'd make the sacrifice to cut the sketchbook apart if it meant that people could enjoy it and see it, I guess. It could be rebound later, maybe. I don't know. But I think that's why lately sometimes I've just been drawing on pieces of paper, so at least I have the option of framing it more easily, or hanging it, at least, tacking it to a wall. Guess, I don't know, priorities change. The priorities change, but desires and things I like don't. I still love the feeling of drawing a sketchbook, and a full sketchbook. And you don't really, sketchbooks are nice because you can take them around with you places. You can take around loose pieces of paper with you too, but it's just not the same feeling, if you're just sitting around in a random place. You don't pull out a random piece of 9x12, Bristol and start drawing on it. A sketchbook feels so much more comfortable and organic to, nobody, instead of having a big clipboard with me and everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, just drawing. No, I will say drawing in a sketchbook is still a great conversation starter for example, at coffee shops and stuff. You can do almost all the other regular coffee shop stuff, working on your computer, listening to music, talking, reading a book, whatever other stuff people do at coffee shops. Nobody's ever just randomly started a conversation with me when I've been doing those things. But if I'm sitting there drawing on my sketchbook, a lot of times people will stop by and be like, oh, that looks so cool. Or, hey, what are you drawing? Or, hey, they'll just stop and look and not say anything. And then it'll get awkward for a second as we make eye contact. And they're like, oh, sorry, I was just looking. I'm like, oh, that's okay. It's just sometimes they don't say anything, or I don't know. So I love sketchbooks, okay? But maybe, I don't know. I guess there's just pluses and minuses to everything in life, so I don't have all the answers. Just, I won't let the pluses and minuses stop me from drawing. I'll keep drawing in one place or another, okay? For sure. That's the bottom line.